Hello there, lovers. Today I want to present a very special guest in an intimate Q&A. I went on my Instagram and I asked if you guys had any questions for this person. So these questions all come from you. So without further ado, how are you doing?
I'm honestly, I'm a little nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Because there's no one's opinion that I care about as much as I care about yours. Is that right? Is that on right?
You want some help? Bubble Breaks asks, are you bi or queer? This is a question that I get a lot, and I've actually gotten it a lot my entire life. I grew up in a co-ed sport. I've always been a little bit more masculine. I love women. My career essentially is like 90% about women. It's about men too, and I love you guys, but just I think of identity politics, it just tends to be women who I mostly connect with. But no, I'm not. And so I love women and I'm attracted to women, but for whatever reason, I haven't found a woman who I wanted to have an experience with or share with in that way that goes beyond friendship. But I'm always going to be open to it, but I'm never going to pressure myself to experience it before it comes natural. Make sense? I mean, obviously that makes sense to me, but I'm not sure if other people will get it, but I think that made sense. All right, moving on. Black Flower Sun says, we all know you're in an open relationship. Oh, these are two back-to-back ones, by the way. We know you're in an open relationship with Jared, but have you ever been involved with another person since you guys have dated? One. And then second, Delanio P says, have you ever had any regrets, even if just for a second, about having an open relationship? And P.S., both these questions, again, had a lot of thumbs up on them. People want to know. I'm starting to have like a real love-hate relationship with this open relationship business because I guess there's a lot of I understand the curiosity around it, but I've also at this point done like 4 videos on it, and I feel like I've talked about it quite a bit. And so people who ask questions, I'm like, if you're really that curious, go to my YouTube channel and figure it out. But then I also get that it's about accessibility, and so you're going to want to ask the same things over and over again. And the heart of that question, have we been with other people before? I have had experiences outside of our relationship, but that have not, to be honest with you, I act the same way in a relationship that I do when I'm single. And I'm just not a reckless single person. I enjoy flirting. I love flirting. I love the exchange of it. I love having an open floodgate for sexual energy, and my relationship allows me to have that while still honoring the same principles about my sexual boundaries that I would have regardless. So the point of an open relationship is really saying that trust me to make my own decisions. Trust that I make good choices. Trust that I have discipline. And so we don't have to come together and impose new rules on each other. You keep doing you, I'll keep doing me, and we're choosing each other. But if something else comes along that you find of interest, trust that I'll make a healthy decision of how I'm going to interact with that. And that's pretty much been how our relationship has gone down and why it's worked best. The only regret or time I've had a regret before is when his family found out. It wasn't his family. Jared used to be very religious and a part of a very controlling church, and somebody a part of that church sent him a message that was just like, yo bro, I've been seeing the videos online, we're all praying for you and we all feel really sad about what's happened to you. And in that moment I felt bad about it, because I don't want my partner to go through scrutiny from people that they used to care about. I don't want my partner to be seen as devilish or to second guess, or even their family to think that we're doing something that is immoral or amoral, whichever letter it is. Is it M or A? So that, I think it's more so the interpretation of our relationship by people closest to us. And I never want to damage his relationships because of our relationship. That's probably the first time that I felt a way about it. But in between, when it comes to him and I, no. I think that we're we love each other in exactly the way that we need to love each other at this time. All right, Taylor Amore had many questions. We're gonna get to 3 of them. She says, what are your views on sex before marriage? Does waiting make a difference? Do you think friends and benefits can ever be healthy? Pick or choose which, or all that you want to answer. Okay. The whole sex before marriage, sex on the first date, when do you have sex thing, I think can just take up a lot of time. I'll just put it very simply. The right time to have intercourse with somebody or to engage with them physically is when consent and intent are aligned. I think the right time to do anything intimately with somebody, whether that is spend money on them or anything that just involves a little bit of risk from you, and being intimately involved with somebody does come with health risks and emotional risks. But anytime that you want to go to the next step with somebody intimately, you want to make sure those two things are aligned. And so waiting till marriage, what that does is it has that conversation for you. So we're both saying that yes, we consent, and our intent is to have a long-lasting life together. That's why we're waiting until marriage. And so it clears up that conversation, which can be helpful for people. Secondarily to that, of course, waiting until you're in an official relationship also clears up that conversation of like consent and intent. But I don't think you have to wait if you don't want to, for like that to be established, because you can just ask. You can just simply say like, why do you want to have sex? What does sex mean to you? What would a sexual relationship or romantic relationship in this regard mean for us? Can we keep having this discussion? What are your views on sexual health? You can ask those questions. So you don't have to wait for a specific time, but it works for a lot of people. So my view on it is if it works for you, then do that. It's all about joy and individual health and happiness without impinging on the individual health and happiness of others. J Michelle 7 asks, and this one got a lot of likes, I would like to know the details of what exactly happened with Those Girls Are Wild. I was a big fan and the whole thing just disappeared into thin air. The whole Those Girls Are Wild thing, Those Girls Are Wild was my first introduction on YouTube, really to the internet. So I got in a book deal to put out Laid, and I had nothing. I had no audience, I had no reach. And so myself and my best friend, who did have an audience and did have reach, was gracious enough to partner with me to create a website that was essentially like a female empowerment movement. And so Laid was really publicized through this site, and her projects were publicized through this site, and it was something that was really special to me for like 3 years. But by and large, I'm kind of over talking about it, and I'm not in a rude way of like I'm closing myself off, but I feel like I've discussed it independently. I've seen that person discuss it independently, and at this point, if we're not willing to talk about it together, I gotta let it go. But in case you were curious, I am definitely open to talking about what went wrong, what happened, and whether it's in a forum like this, maybe it's a one-on-one conversation that we tape that's educational, maybe it's a private thing. I am open to that discussion, but I'm also open to that person not giving up. And I don't mean that in like a rude way. I think the older that you get, and especially with social media that we're all in touch now, there have been some people from my past who reach out to me, especially living in LA. Like people always come to LA from my hometown, like, yo, I'm here, let's meet up. And I'm like, I don't go back home and talk to you. Like, I feel like there's this sense of sometimes that we have that if we had something with someone that they owe us a reunion talk or closure, that they owe us more of their time, as opposed to like we experienced what we did back then when it made sense. It doesn't make sense anymore, and it's not a negative thing if I see you, I say hi, but we don't have to make an effort to continue a relationship where neither one of us really see value in that. And so I give my partner, my ex-partner, permission to say, I don't see value in talking to her at all or having a sense of closure, and that would be okay with me. But I'm open to it, but I'm also open to them not being open to it. Make sense? I know exactly where you're coming from on that one. Okay, moving on. All right. Love Brianna XO says, do you believe in love at first sight? Do you believe in hopeless romance? Or is it possible to have the fairy tale romance? Shan BOODY. Do I believe in love at first sight and being a hopeless romantic? Is a balance there. There's a balance there for sure. I believe in science. I believe that we are pair bonding mammals who are community-based and who are designed to work, live, and love together, and that love is a necessity in order to facilitate that process. But I believe that there's magic in that, just like we eat because we have to eat to survive, but there are still ways to eat healthy, but also eat incredible. I guess what I'm trying to say, I believe you can have a healthy fairy tale love at first sight romance that is very heavily regimented. It's kind of like, I believe you can have a delicious life and you can really enjoy food by being on a meal plan, that you're very strict about your diet and you're very purposeful, but you also thoroughly enjoy it. So when it comes to love and relationships, you cannot surrender yourself to the current. I think you have to remain in control and keep discipline and make smart choices. But when you do that, you can lead yourself to things that do give you all of those magical feelings. I honestly believe, this is the stupidest thing, but like, yo, there's so many times I'm like, do I live in a romantic comedy? Like, there's just ridiculous things that happen in my existence with my partner. Like, we have a record player and he'll play it and we'll like dance by ourselves in the living room, or we'll just like these mornings that we'll just lay in bed for hours, or I'll see him. I enjoy walking behind him so much because I love seeing how people see him without seeing me. Like, I love seeing the world, how the world reacts to my love. And like, these are things that are like fairy tale-ish, but I'm so purposeful about my love. I am so practical. I'm always assessing it. Like, I'm very aware that I'm addicted to his smell. And I don't mean that like because his smells so amazing. I just mean because of the fact that I've spent enough time with him, and my brain wants me to connect with somebody in a romantic way so I can like survive and procreate. And so they've chosen this person, and then as a result, smell is one of the things that attaches me to him. I enjoy it still, but I don't get lost in it. So I think that I'm not a hopeless romantic. I am a purposeful romantic. And yeah, that's why, I don't know. I think it works for me, but I'm also kind of part robot. Lovely. And the last question that we have time for today, Carolyn and Silly asks, how did you become so confident? How did you get it together? She didn't say all that, but I just wanted to keep doing the accent a little bit longer because you're doing all the talking. I'm getting a little jealous over there. So just, how do you become so confident? Confidence, 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 confident. As I'm thinking about the answer, obviously, I became confident by putting the work in. That's really the easiest answer. I recently went to a speech therapist. This is my third speech therapist that I have seen. That is one of my exercises. This is annoying, I know. But yeah, I put the work in. If something bothers me about myself, I make an effort to change it. And even if other people are like, it's fine, I know in myself, it prevents me from being in my flow. Whatever stops me from being in my flow, I love who I am. I like the core of myself. I know what that is. And I have that symbol of the womb and that spark in the middle, because I'm like, that's it. Whatever's on the outside, whatever hair you put on that day, or whatever clothes you decide to wear, or what you tried to do accent-wise, or none of that really matters. It's that center part of who you are, that bit of expression, your purpose, your desire for this world. That's what I try to protect. And I want to flow from that place. And whatever I got to do to trick myself to flow from that place is what I want to do. I don't want to second guess how I look, so I put effort into that. I don't want to second guess how I speak, so I put effort into that. And so that I can just come from that organic place that just wants to be Shannon, or whoever I actually am supposed to be named. And so confidence is a process. Confidence is preparation. And confidence is being able to acknowledge that I'm not good enough right now. And that's okay. I'm still happy with who I am. And I know that, again, that core place, that spark inside of my womb, or if you're a dude, inside of your nutsack, I guess, that spark inside of you is like valid and important and has a space in this world, and that matters. But then also, I gotta sometimes be willing to adjust the things outside of that. That's what confidence is. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us. And of course, thank you to my guest, Miss Shan BOODY, for being so candid in these questions. If you guys want to see another part 2 to this, I took all of these questions from Instagram. The next round I will only take from YouTube. So put your comments in the comment section below if you have anything you're curious about that you want to know about her personal life, about her work, about her lack of work, what she eats for breakfast. You know, it's kind of up to you, you know, how deep you want to go with this. And just, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love you dearly, and I'm a fan of your work, and I think that you're awesome and incredible, and that you're meant to do incredible things in this world. And wherever I can possibly support you, please don't ever be afraid to ask, because I'm on your team. And yes, I'm on your team too. Don't get jealous.
I get it, girl.
Na 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 na. Say na 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 na.
Oh yeah, I get it, girl.
Na 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 na.
Yeah,
Na na
yeah,
na
yeah,
na na.
yeah, I get it, girl.
Na 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 na.
Oh,
Na na na.
and if you don't know, get it, girl.
Na 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 na.
Oh,
Na 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 na.
yeah, I get it, girl.